All right, I'm going to go down to the Midway Warming Hut. That's another trailhead right on the access road up to the Discovery Ski Area. So this is the junction of Echo Lake Trail and the Midway Trail. So a lot of cross-country skiers park at this Midway Warming Hut. And you can see people have walked on the trail when it was soft and mushy. Post-holing. Makes it pretty bumpy. No big bumps, just lots of little bumps. There's another junction. We'll take that on the way back. So this is the Midway parking lot. There are trails on the other side of the road, but this time of year, the road has melted off. You can see the trail here. The road has melted off, and the skier traffic driving up to the ski area, they kick up a lot of dust, and the trails on the other side of the road there are right next to the road, and it gets really dusty. There's restrooms here, a little warming hut, trail etiquette sign. They do groom a classic kick and glide section of the trail. Nice to see the parking lot. I come up here really early. It's nice to see the parking lot is empty. I'm on the Paradise Trail here. Because when it's empty, there's no cross-country skiers. And I don't know what it is, but I try and be polite and slow down and get out of the way of the cross-country skiers. But it's usually women with their dogs, and the dog will end up following me, and they start yelling at the dog. But then I realized a lot of times they're not yelling at the dog, they're yelling at me. So there is, this is multi-use. You can walk on this. Snowshoe, bike, ski, but everybody has their own little claim to stake their claim. They don't like to see other people out here. It's just human nature. They want everything to themselves. So I get yelled at. I've even gotten yelled at by the groomers. Now it's interesting down in Utah, riding a bike and encountering runners or even horseback riders. I don't get yelled at as much. In fact, I don't think I've ever been yelled at by runners with their dogs or hikers with their dogs. I have been yelled at by the horseback riders. Equestrian. So it's pretty out here in this meadow. A little sunshine. Yeah, one of the groomers chewed me out for accusing me of having my tires too high a pressure. All right, so there's what's called the power line trail. I guess we'll take that. You can see the power line. And I said, sure. I said, well, they're not, they're only somewhere between 5 and 10 psi. They're pretty damn soft. And so then they said, well, that's because you're up at elevation and you measured the pressure down where you live. And I pointed out, well, where I live is essentially the same as where we are right now. Where I live is kind of in the foothills of the Sapphire Mountains, around 6,000 feet, and that's about what the elevation is here. So coming up in elevation is not going to change my tire pressure. Well, I can understand their concern. Everybody's a control freak. So I guess we're back on the Echo Lake Trail. So I'm going to stop this video here. Ooh, I hear a flicker chomping into a dead tree.